What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, Morgan Allena True Crime and Mystery. Obviously, we have all been waiting for the new season of Gypsy Rose Blanchard Life After Lockup to premiere. Like to agree that we don't like to support Gypsy and give her views, so I wanted to come on here and make a video and go over all of the things that I feel are sketch, a little weird, or things that I noticed and I picked up whenever I watched the episode. I will try to get in as many little bits and clips as I can without it getting violations of copyrights or whatever, but just to kind of get my reaction and what I felt whenever I was watching Gypsy Rose and really paying attention to her behavior that she showed. There are some things that I feel like are important. If you're one of the ones that did not watch the episode, have no fear, I'm going to break down all of the relevant details, kind of bypass all the useless stuff, but get you some of the things that I feel are important or things that you might think are important that you want to be in the know about. So let's get into it. But before we do, of course, I want to give a very special shout out to you guys that have left me a super thanks on my videos. Say thank you very much for gifting me and my channel and supporting me. It really means a lot. So those of you that have given me a super thanks, and I think I'm going to throw in some other ones. I'm pretty positive that I missed you guys prior, and it wasn't on my last video, but some prior videos. But Paula Walking 3398, I also got your DMs on TikTok, so thank you for trying to help me out on there. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the super thanks. Peace in Christ alone. You have left me so many super thanks in the last few days. It's really, really nice of you to do that. Thank you very much. And then not only that, you also became a member of my channel, which I haven't really brought this up because I'm still a very new creator. And since I'm just now starting to kind of get that set up, I don't want to I worry about asking or doing too many things when I'm not at the level of other creators, you know what I mean? But if you guys go through the memberships or the monthly subscription things, the tiers, there's a couple different ones that are, they're nothing crazy. It's they're $2 or whatever. If you go through them, I kind of want to hear from you guys about it. What would you want? Or what do you have in mind? Do you want special videos as members? Do you want, special shorts, special updates about my personal life? Or, one of the things is early access to videos that I upload. So members only get to see it first type of thing. Let me know what you guys kind of look for whenever or if you are somebody that likes to do a monthly subscription to creators. And again, I'm not forcing you guys to do any of that, but it's there if you guys want to do that. I want to hear from you and what you guys expect or what you guys look for in a creator. And I do take you guys' feedback and your comments very, very seriously. I take it all to heart, honestly, and I really value your feedback and everything. So let me know down in the comments what you think about that, or if, or don't, just whatever you guys want to do. But thank you, peace in Christ alone. Amen. Agree with your username. Another one that left me a super thanks, and I'm probably going to say your name wrong too. I feel like I do this every video, and I'm sorry. I think it's Phaedra 1980. Thank you for the super thanks. I really appreciate that. And then I know Mellow Yellow has left me super thanks before, and I know I gave you a shout out on one of them, but I don't know if I missed you one time. So thank you again, Mellow Yellow. And then also Foxy Paws Toddy. I don't know if I gave you a shout out before, but I just want to make sure I get everybody and I don't miss anyone ever. So thank you guys for watching my videos and supporting my channel, and for the super thanks and gifts. Everything that you guys do really, really means a lot. And as always, just your views and, interaction with my videos helps me just as much as anything. Sharing my videos across platforms, very helpful and helps me and my channel. But enough of that. Let's go ahead and get into today's topic on the newest episode of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, Life After Lockup. Biggest what the F moments. So before the episode even started, they showed their episode where they were going through some unseen footage, and there was one part in there that really stood out to me, and I'm really going to try to insert all the clips that I can without getting a violation type of thing going on in my video, because they are very, very particular about things. But there was one moment whenever Ryan was talking to Gypsy and they were basically discussing the whole Ken thing, and Gypsy admitted that Christy had already told her about Ken and they had already kind of been, communicating back and forth. And the look that she gave Ryan, you can tell it scared him. And now that I've seen that, the way that she moves and her little body language whenever she's not, performing for the cameras, it's something. I think he was actually scared. So let's take a look at this really quick.
Now we're going to limit my interaction with Christy to eliminate any talk of Ken. Maybe you could, that pent-up resentment or whatever about the whole Ken situation.
Yeah, I wish people would stop bringing him up.
I was scared leading up to an operation. I hadn't had an operation in quite some time. That was going to be something that probably might trigger me, might not. I didn't know what to expect, and I wanted support.
We've had fights and arguments and discussions, and we've always come out stronger than what we were.
Right? I don't know if I like that.
I felt controlled. I felt like I was being put in a situation that I was forced to choose between family and husband.
Something you're not telling me?
No.
Did you guys catch that? Those little subtle looks I noticed that she was doing all throughout this first episode. They say so much if you're really focusing on what she's doing. She has so many little micro expressions that give a kind of insight into what she's really thinking. And if you can really just stop and picture that look, looking at her mother, knowing what she was planning to do, I guarantee you it was a very similar look, just smiling right in her face, knowing what she was planning, the same way that Gypsy knew what she was planning to do with Ken the entire time. It spooked Ryan, you can tell it did. Or at least my opinion is that it did. But basically the episode kind of starts off with them, picking right back up into the pregnancy. And another thing, I know a lot of people were curious about what content creators were actually going to allow Lifetime to air their content. And I had seen a lot of people say that they would be very, very upset about creators, essentially assisting Lifetime and helping Gypsy in a way by giving them their content to play on the Lifetime series. So if you're curious what content creators were on this episode, and I have a feeling that there's going to be quite a few more throughout the season, I'll go ahead and show you. Some of them I wasn't really entirely familiar with, but there were a couple of them. Some are very big creators. For example, Ivory Rose Nose was on there, and I didn't expect to see that.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard thought that getting pregnant and having a baby was going to water down her public image and make her more likable, and it's done the exact opposite.
Our sweet Jib Jib decided it was a good idea to trap the man with a baby. Because didn't your mother trap your daddy with you? And your daddy said, bye-bye, Jib Jib.
You can see the manipulation playing out. I wonder if she truly knows how to be authentic and honest.
Yeah, it's her life and she can do whatever she wants with it, but my personal opinion is that this was way too fast.
Some of the creators were very vocal about not supporting Gypsy or Lifetime and wanting the show to be, taken off the air. And I understand it could be for marketing reasons or whatever, exposure for your content. It just, personally, I would not do that. But, to each their own. I'm not saying go unfollow everybody or whatever, everybody does their own thing and that's fine. But those are just the creators, just in case you were wondering. So we start off and it's basically going into Gypsy Rose Blanchard's gender reveal party and blah, 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 the whole baby thing that's happening and trying to, explain away how this was so unexpected, obviously kind of how we all figured the show would go, right? They're kind of just picking back up where they left off and explaining how Gypsy ended up getting pregnant. And I think with this episode, for one, good job on Mia for saying that she would not give Gypsy and Ken her blessing. I know a lot of people hate on Mia just because, she does benefit from the show as well, but Mia, in my opinion, is one of the most sensible people in that family. And as far as just having a somewhat good character about her, I feel. She said she would not give Gypsy and Ken her blessing because A, it obviously didn't work with the Ryan and Gypsy thing, and I don't disagree with her. I wouldn't be wanting Gypsy to get married either if that was my family member, considering that Gypsy literally got with another guy while she was still married. And some people do have a value that they put to marriage. I know some people don't, and they really do just view it as a piece of paper, kind of like how Rod did, I guess, whenever he said that the baby is not just a piece of paper like a marriage certificate.
You know, I knew Gypsy wanted to be pregnant, I could tell. I would have hoped both of them would have taken my advice. They didn't, though, so I wasn't extremely surprised. Disappointed, of course. I hope she would have had more time to just live a little bit. You know? It's not just a piece of paper like a marriage. You know, this is a life growing in her, and she's got to stick with it.
I was trying so hard not to cry on the phone, and I don't know why. I was just super emotional, disappointed, happy, but like worried all at once. But I'm happy with whatever she wants to do.
I didn't know nothing about that relationship. I didn't know nothing about that he wrote her letters. They spoke 3, 4, 5 hours at a time. They got that kind of connection that they complete each other. Seeing that, knowing that, that makes me feel good as a father. So once I found out that Gypsy was pregnant, I said it's only appropriate then the families meet.
Gypsy was dropping the marriage hints so hardcore over and over and over again throughout this episode, and it's like, girl, can you please chill out? He gets the point. He knows you want to get married. It was just insane to me that she's already dropping so many hints about being married whenever she's not even, at this point, finished with her divorce yet. Gypsy also opted to cry multiple times throughout the episode. They were obviously very, very fake tears. Never a single tear to be seen. Never one in sight ever. Every single time she cries, she's very good at making it sound like she's crying, but she never actually cries. Which is a good thing if you want to be a master manipulator like Gypsy. You gotta really get that down. But you know, she's obviously not top tier because she can't even squeeze out a fake tear. You know, whatever. She's still got some time to work on it. Obviously, the whole therapy session was incredibly set up, and honestly, one thing that I thought was a red flag was Gypsy saying that it was shady of Ken to be up at night reading comments on his phone. Whenever they were having a little spat and driving to the therapy appointment, she brought it up, saying, if I didn't trust you, I'd think that's shady behavior. No, it's not. A lot of people lay in bed at night and go through their phone. That is completely normal behavior, and I'm sure she does that as well. So the fact that she's insinuating that he's like possibly cheating or doing something sketchy is like stage 5 clinger to me, the exact same way that she described her relationship with Ryan. That's what she does to Ken. And she continues to like try to make him into this position of she wants to work and make sure that she's doing the best that she can for the relationship. And sometimes he just shuts her down. That's pretty much what the entire therapy session was about. Just basically Ken trying to actually offer solutions to whatever she's complaining about in the moment, and she'll shut it down or be negative. And then she instantly started crying whenever the therapy session didn't really start going her way, because he's like, well, yeah, I said I would do that, but then you're like, no, you said that before, or blah, blah, blah. And it's always about social media and comments whenever she admitted herself that she obsessively reads negative comments. I mean, literally in the car ride there, she was reading them out loud.
Comment, I'm notoriously evil.
Don't read it. Just delete it, move on.
Mr. Stay Up All Night, looking at comments.
You know, okay, alright. Yeah, I'm guilty of it too.
If I didn't trust you so much, I'm gonna say that behavior is shady. It looks shady.
And we separated. The belief that I had was that he left because the pressure of being with me as a public figure was too much.
Okay.
So I am trying to protect him in a way that it doesn't become overwhelming and make him want to leave. There are times that I feel really guilty.
Okay.
Just because, like, I know there's been a lot of change for him.
Clearly, this was their first therapy session ever. Gypsy had not been in therapy, had never met with this therapist, probably never met with them again. This lady did not even know anything about them as a couple, didn't know their story, didn't know anything. She was like, why are you here again? Like, what's the deal? How'd y'all meet? Like, what's, why are you here? And Gypsy had to go through and, basically say, well, I just want to make sure that we're good. Like, I know we don't need therapy, but therapy's always good. I always encourage therapy. Like, I guarantee you, she's not went to therapy after what's been filmed for the show and whatever. I don't sincerely believe that she's actually going to therapy actively. Unless she can find it in a way to, like, manipulate Ken and make Ken look like the bad guy and get her and the therapist working against Ken, which I can entirely see her doing. And then the next part was basically around the hurricane, whenever that bad hurricane was happening and they were in Louisiana. Obviously, they were under a mandatory evacuation. Gypsy was pissed the entire time. Literally, her face was just like pissed off, because Ken was like, what are you planning on doing? And like, I guess go rescue her. But she was mad that he was like, all right, well, you're under a mandatory evacuation. You should probably leave. Christy was like dead on the couch. She had been sick and clearly sounded sick, obviously throwing up or something like that. She was clearly not feeling good. But Gypsy was like pissed off, and it just shows how selfish she actually is, because Christy's there. Gypsy's like 5 seconds pregnant, so she can clearly be up and moving and doing things. Christy's sick on the couch and there's a hurricane coming. Gypsy only cares about herself. And Christy was like, we need to get the furniture and stack it up because it's going to blow away, and Gypsy's like, isn't there like a man friend that could come and do that? And Christy's like, no, I'll get up and go do it. Like, okay, first of all, Christy was likely mentioning that to you, Gypsy, because she wanted you to step up and be a grown-up and go help out. It's just lawn chairs. It's not like it's, some huge ordeal that she can't do. She could clearly drag something over. If Christy could do it, Gypsy could do it as well. And I just don't. Gypsy totally bypassed that and was like, well, you should probably have a man come and do it. Oh.
I need to go through this here, and he's not with me. I don't like that. It's just more of that, like, disconnection that I don't like, that we're in two different areas.
Sis, you're going to be in your safe place to write up.
Sucks to see. Gotta take the furniture and stack them or something, I don't know.
Like a man friend to come do all this? Like a neighbor or something?
No, I can do it. I'm gonna get up in a second and...
I haven't been in a hurricane since Katrina. I do remember evacuating with my mom. We were living in Section 8 housing, and the entire complex was just destroyed. This is right before we got to Missouri, so my mother told the doctors that all of my medical records were washed away in the hurricane. My mother always wanted to get away from Louisiana. She kept wanting to move further from her family, further from Dad and Christy. So I think this was like her golden opportunity to start all over again, and then get to take the abuse from here and take it to a whole other level, because now she can make me any age she wanted to be. She got to get off the hook of her own medication because she was on psych meds. And then when we moved to Missouri, she did not follow up with that. Kim did say that if we needed to go to his apartment, we could.
I'm not going. I'll be safer here.
Well, that would have just irked me to no end. Like, get up. You see I'm sick. You're fine. Yeah, you're pregnant, but you're not like that pregnant. Like, pregnant people can still do things. They can still get up. They can still move around. I'll never understand why some people that get pregnant, they act like they're just completely like incapable of doing things. And it's really just an excuse that they use. But, whatever. Gypsy clearly was only focusing on herself. She was rocking back and forth, and then she tried to say in her sweet tone, Ken said that if, the weather gets bad, that we can go stay with him. And she's like, oh no, I'm not leaving. I'm from a place that there's tornadoes every 5 seconds in tornado season. I'm sure you can guess where that's at. You're not leaving your house unless it's really, 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 really bad. People are just used to that down there. Gypsy immediately started talking about Hurricane Katrina and how it, destroyed the apartment that they lived in as kids. And she was just not handling the hurricane situation. And I think it's because she was not having enough sympathy for her and her situation by Ken. I think that's really what irked her. And it was like Ken's basically trying to treat her like a grown-up. Like, well, You're there with your parents. Obviously, they're more familiar with hurricanes than Ken is. He's not even from Louisiana. You gotta go, then you gotta go. I think she was fully expecting him to just drive down there and rescue her in some like heroic thing, because that's really what she was focused on, was the fact that they weren't together. Which I'm pretty sure I had heard on social media. This is again why I don't really like go into the whole speculation and tea and blah 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 drama gossip, because I'm pretty positive I heard somewhere that Ken had been staying with them the entire time. So obviously he wasn't there, and he didn't, you know, he told Gypsy to be safe, but essentially he was not there with her at the time. And I understand, you know, being pregnant, a bit more emotional and things like that, but I think her focus was more on the fact that it's not being made that big of a deal for her. Like, it's just a weird thing. It wasn't like concern about the house. It wasn't concern about the safety. It was just like, why are we not like freaking out and making a big deal about this? And why is Ken not coming immediately to be by my side? Or why is Christy and Rod not immediately taking me to be with Ken? But again, Christy was very, very sick on the couch. She was clear. You could just tell she didn't feel well. And the fact that Gypsy was just going to let her have to get up, knowing that she's sick, instead of taking the opportunity while she's, you know, she's going to be a mother. She's going to have to step up and do motherly things. Failed to help Christy out whenever she's sick. See, like, that's the thing about Gypsy and her relationships. She's only happy when it's benefiting and surrounding her. So all the attention, everything, all the happiness and joy is pointed directly towards her. And when it's her time to give back or, you know, to help out in any other way, she totally misses all the cues because she's so used to being catered to and pampered like she has been her entire life. And funny enough, during the episode, they zoomed in on a picture of Gypsy that was, I guess, at the apartment or at one of their houses, and it was Gypsy at her Harry Potter event that she got to go to with her mother, which, you know, interestingly, she says that she feels so bad that they scammed so many people. She feels so bad. She has it framed sitting in her living room. The abuse that she suffered. A constant reminder that her mom took her to the Harry Potter event where she got to meet her ultimate favorite celebrities. I thought that was a little bit interesting. A constant daily reminder of what you went through, right? She likes to focus on the good stuff, the good things that her mom did for her, like scamming the charities that got her to go meet celebrities and got her to go to Disney World, and all these positive things that were essentially she was in and she was a part of. That's why she's not triggered by those pictures. That's why she's not ashamed of it. She was happy in those moments, and I'm sure she's still very proud that she got to go meet those celebrities as a benefit of the scams and the fraud that they were running. And again, Gypsy had to, of course, bring up some random story about her mom being on psychiatric medication before they moved to Missouri, which there is no evidence or proof that any of that happened. She always likes to claim that her mother had schizophrenia. Obviously, in her autopsy, it shows her medical history. There's zero mention of any sort of schizophrenic diagnosis, any mental health disorders, really. But she still wants to hold on to that claim that her mother was schizophrenic and bipolar and had multiple personalities. Like, she really believes that. I don't know if you guys remember in her book where she wrote a little bit about that. And the things that she described was not even like a characteristic of schizophrenia. Yeah, I'm sure Dee Dee had depression. Honestly, that's what it sounded more like, that Dee Dee was depressed. And yeah, she probably was. Her daughter tried to shoot her. I would be depressed too. You know, living in the house with somebody that's trying to kill me. That would be a little depressing. Knowing that you did everything and you lived your entire life to give your daughter and your child every single thing she could ever want. Every trip, every event, every costume, everything this child could ever want, and she was still not happy. And obviously, you know, at the end of the episode, it shows them going on a date, and this stood out to me so much. And I honestly hope that Lifetime is showing Gypsy in the view that she actually is, because I think this gives you a little sneak peek into who she truly is. So they get to the restaurant, and Ken is ordering for them, and Gypsy is pissed off because he orders octopus or calamari, probably. Very good. I don't know if you guys have ever had calamari. It's really good. And then he orders some kind of other seafood type of salad, and Gypsy immediately is pissed, and then she starts talking about how Aside from spiders, octopus are now randomly one of her biggest fears. And yet she still wants people to believe that she was not picky about what she ate. Her mother really starved her, and it had nothing to do with the fact that she was incredibly picky. Obviously, she still is, because she still continues to eat like a diet of French fries. And she even admits that. And Ken was like, no, this is your opportunity to be adventurous, blah, blah, blah. And she starts talking about this random fear of octopus. And it just is so manipulative, in my opinion. She's a grown woman with a new erratic fear of octopus. I'm honestly surprised she didn't say it's because octopus reminds me of Ursula from The Little Mermaid, and Ursula stole Ariel's voice. And that's just like what my mother tried to do to me. I honest to God feel like she would make that connection off the camera and they just clipped it out because it's so ridiculous. I feel like that's something exactly that she would do. And she didn't even try it. She did not even try the food. He was telling her, like, this is your time, you want to try new things. You want to be, a new person and grow and experience things. And she did not try it at all. And then Ken, of course, embarrassed her in front of the waiter, saying that, she didn't try it. And, I mean, that was a little rude. I'm going to be honest, that was a little rude. That'd probably piss me off. But Gypsy ended up going to the bathroom to cry like a baby over it, because Ken called her out for not even attempting to try the food, which Gypsy tried to blame it on the pregnancy for being picky, but we all know that Gypsy was not denied food whenever she was little. It's in the medical records that Dee Dee attempted to give her any kind of food that she wanted. Her favorite happened to be mashed potatoes. Clearly we know that from the Royal Mashed Potatoes video. I mean, there's obviously a video about Royal Mashed Potatoes. So we know Gypsy was not on a formula type of eating 2 meal only diet like she wants to pretend, because I feel like, honestly, if that was the case and she left with Nick that day, or like those few days after she, did what she did to her mother, she would not have been able to eat brownies and pizza that they ordered at Papa John's or wherever it was following the murder when they were in the hotel. And they went to Waffle House and she immediately had chocolate milk, but somehow managed to forget she was allergic to chocolate milk. But Gypsy did admit in her book that she does actually have a lactose sensitivity, or she's lactose intolerant. That doesn't even make any sense, honestly.
Right now it's going to be that octopus. Okay, we'll do one of those. And then we're going to split a blue crab salad. Elise.
You ordered octopus?
Are you going to eat some?
So, octopus is the one creature that I, besides spiders, am like freaked out by.
Okay, well, you're going to eat it tonight. I'm not going to hear anything from you. I'm not going to hear about your fears. You're just going to try it, because part of you transitioning is trying things you've never tried before. Done a lot of that already. But I want you to try the octopus, okay? Because you don't know until you know. Have you ever had octopus before?
No.
Okay, so let's not judge it until we try it. We're going to try it tonight. And if you hate it, you hate it. It's a little chewy.
She's lying. She didn't even try it because she's afraid. I liked it. She's just afraid to try it. Want me to make better?
I'm fine.
She's okay.
I'm pregnant. I'm thinking because I'm pregnant.
You can pick the brand reason you want.
Nice.
Spoil you for it. Yes, you can. Thank you.
I just wanted to shame her a little bit, that's all.
Where's the bathroom?
All the way down to the right.
She instantly, you could just see it on her face, the look of like, how dare you order this for me without asking my permission, or thinking about if I would even like it or not, and then him pushing her to try to eat it. You don't force Gypsy to do anything that she doesn't want to do. That's very, very clear. Gypsy will not be forced to do anything, whether that's be in a con, stay in a wheelchair, stay in a marriage, eat freaking calamari. You're not gonna force her to do it, and she has never been forced to act or behave or be controlled whatsoever. She doesn't like to be controlled because she hasn't ever been in her life. And that's probably why Dee Dee ended up losing her life, is because she tried to get Gypsy under control because Gypsy was getting out of control. She couldn't rein her back in anymore. She was not acting normal. And we know that Dee Dee threatened to kick Gypsy out of the house. We know that. Gypsy told Nick that. We know the reason why Gypsy wasn't actually out of the house was because she prolonged packing. So she just didn't pack up her stuff. She could have easily escaped whenever Dee Dee said, "Get out of my house." But she didn't do that. She was so angry at her mom that she ended her life. And these little tiny things, like Ken ordering octopus for dinner and expecting her to try it, sets her off. And I don't even know if it's something that's like, it just truly hurt her feelings. I think she's mad because she doesn't have the control. She's not the one in charge, and she doesn't like to not be the one that's in charge or running the show. And she didn't like that Ken didn't immediately feel bad for not ordering it or trying to get her to eat it, because that's what she was trying to do. If you watch those subtle little movements and those behaviors, you can clearly see that that's exactly what she wants. She wants to be the one that is in control at all times. That way she can manipulate and play the victim later on. I'm sure she went home and started crying to Christy about the whole thing, talking about how she was humiliated and how he announced to everyone that she refused to try food and it was a trigger for her, blah, 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 just like in that unseen footage whenever Ryan was the bad guy for not letting Christy, who actively played a part in breaking up the marriage, he did not want Christy over at the house, which who would blame him? You have somebody that's literally trying to tear your marriage apart and you want that person over? Nobody does that. But she got angry. You can see it in her face that she's so angry that he would dare say, "No, I don't really want that woman here." And she's like, "I don't want to feel controlled." It's not that. You just don't actively let people in your lives when you're married that try to break up your marriage. If you have any sort of, value or respect for your marriage. Ken truly tried to make it like a new experience for her. Somebody who claims to never get to experience food. He's trying to create an experience for her and show her new foods, even just to try it. Like, I'm very, 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 very picky about food, but I will at least try something, especially now that I'm older. Maybe not when I was a child, but now that I'm older, I'll at least try something just to get it out of the way, and if I don't like it, I don't like it. But she got the plate and set it to the side, refusing to try it like a child. For what? A fear of an octopus? That is absurd. She wouldn't try the other salad because of what? She was just so mad and throwing a fit. Very childish and immature of her. Especially whenever she's the one that claimed to have her whole entire life suppressed. Or was it really like that and Gypsy really just had failure to thrive like it's documented in the medical records and she was extremely picky and wouldn't eat? And you know what I found funny a little bit about the episode prior that was showing the unseen footage was the moment whenever Gypsy got a call about meeting Kim Kardashian. I don't know if you guys remember, but it was during some interview where Gypsy was essentially saying she didn't know the Kardashians. It might have been on the Vile Files. She'd never watched the Kardashians, but her reaction says completely otherwise. She knew exactly who Kim Kardashian was. She said she's the biggest celebrity in the world. Of course she would want to meet her. Instantly, star-eyed, ready to meet her celebrity. That's what she kept saying, celebrity, celebrity. Nothing about Kim Kardashian and her efforts for prison reform. Nothing about any of the acts that she got when she was able to get people out of prison that were serving life for unfair charges. Nothing about that. But celebrity is the word that she used over and over and over again. It shows exactly where she actually is in her mentality, and describing her relationship with Ken, she's talking about, "I'm used to the spotlight." Yeah, I'm sure you are, Gypsy, because you've had it on you your entire life and you made sure of that because you loved it. And it's not just since this murder happened. It's literally been her entire life. She always made sure that she was in front of a camera. And that's who she truly is. She wants that attention. She wants to be this person, this celebrity. Talking about paparazzi's always been in my face. I'm used to it. No, what are you talking about? That is just absurd behavior from somebody that is a convicted murderer. Like, what are we doing?
Because he's just a normal guy. He's not a celebrity. He's not used to this world. I'm used to this world. I'm used to cameras in my face and paparazzi. And of course, when word broke that Ryan and I were getting a divorce, all eyes were on my new man.
Like, she thinks that she's really just a celebrity for who she is. and not because she's an infamous person that killed her own mother. She's really that delusional that she thinks people really just enjoy watching her because they like hearing her story. Not so much about her crime, but just about the things that she survived and blah, 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 blah. Like, girl, what are you talking about? And then she's worried Ken's gonna get tired of it. Like, he didn't choose this life. I'm used to it. The fame, you know, the attention. But Ken, he's not. Like, what kind of weird behavior is that? Especially for somebody that says, I hate the spotlight. I don't want this. I want a normal life. I literally told you guys in that video that I made just a couple weeks ago about Gypsy always wanting to be an influencer. And that's why she made those homestyle videos the way that she did. She wanted this. She wanted to be famous and she got it. Who knows? Maybe that's really why she killed her mother in the first place. She really thought she would be famous in some way. Maybe as the victim or maybe as the killer, who knows? Maybe she really was just in that spot where she was gonna stay in the spotlight forever. I think she ultimately wanted to remain the victim. She probably watched a lot of shows that showed that, yay, victims get on TV. They get to be having a lot of attention whenever they survive some sort of crime or whatever. Who knows? But I feel like that was always Gypsy's motive. To be famous, to have these opportunities, to have herself front and center. And that's exactly what she got. So I don't want to hear her complaining about it. I don't want to hear her complaining about the life that she actively chooses. And then I'm sure you guys saw her TikTok that she posted about her, you don't hate me, sis, blah, blah, blah. Trying to pop off at her haters.
A daughter, I want to be a role model to her for the right reasons.
I ain't going nowhere, just embrace me, bitch. Always lurking on my page, you don't hate me, sis.
Yeah, but you want to be a good role model for your daughter and not be remembered for your crime. You need to be remembered for your crime because you are not sorry for your crime. You are not sorry whatsoever. It is just unreal to me that she just is still getting away with this behavior. And, eventually the media will catch up. I really feel like that. I feel like they'll eventually start paying attention to what people are saying, especially when we're telling you, like, this is the evidence, this is the proof. Everything she has ever told you is a lie. That's why she can't even keep up with her own stories. But, it is what it is. Obviously, she's doing her thing. I don't think she's going to be going away anytime soon, so we might as well just continue calling her out on her bad behavior until, she gets canceled or whatever. Did you guys watch the episode, or did you find a link to go view it? Let me know what you guys thought about it, or, again, I don't know how many clips I'll end up with in this video, just because sometimes it's hit or miss with uploading the video, but let me know what you guys thought about this. If you've watched it, are you surprised or not by Gypsy's weird reaction to the food? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. As always, don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button if you are not. And I want to say thank you again to each of you that left me a super thanks on my previous videos. It means everything. I love you guys. I will see you later. Bye.